We are now done with our add page. So the next thing we do is for the validation to check if our inputs are valid for our field in our photo. So that's a front end validation. Okay, in order for it to work, we have to create a model. Okay, so let's go to our app folder, and we're gonna create a model. We're gonna name it as profile dot typescript or dot ts. Okay, and then we're gonna put in the class, export class profile, and then these are our fields. Okay, the full name, data type is a string, age is a number, photo is a string. Okay, basically this photo is a blob type. This is an image file. Okay, so we could just define it as a string there. So after that, we need to go to the add component.ts, and we're gonna define our model. So let's say model equals new profile. So next we will go to the add component.html, and we're gonna set up our validations. Okay. So we're gonna insert our validations here below the input box. Okay, first we have to define our model in our HTML. Okay, so in the input text, okay, we're gonna insert this one. Right, so that is ng model. Okay, is equal to the model. This is the one that we have defined in our TS file. Dot full name. This is the field that we defined in the profile.ts file. Okay, and then anchor tag full name is equal to ng model. Okay, ng model. Our display, now we're gonna insert our display error message below the input box. Now to say and to save time, I'll just copy and paste it, and I'll explain. So we have inserted this one. So full name is the name of the input, which is this one, full name. So ng if, so we're using an ng if command here. Okay, of the, so we are now using the ng if command. So ng if full name the errors, so there will be an error with the full name and the full name dirty or full name dot touch. We're gonna show an alert message which is color red. Okay, so by default this div is hidden. Okay, so this is our validation. So by default this is used by Angular. Errors that required, if it's so we set it as required here. Okay, and then we're gonna show the error message. Okay, so we've inserted Glyphicon exclamation sign to make the look better, the error message better. So it's color red with an exclamation sign, and then the message, its full name is required. So meaning if the user didn't put in a full name or a name, okay, it will show this message. Okay, as soon as the user proceed to the next field, it will automatically show this error message. Okay, now we just need to copy this one to our next field, which is the age field. So we just need to copy this one. Okay, and we just need to change the field name. So this one will be age 30, age touch. Okay, so this is age errors, and the message should be age is required. Okay, and also we have to add our model here in the input field. So we just need to copy this one, engine model. Gee, I could not copy. So copy and paste it here in the H field. And we have to change this to age as well, this anchor. Now after setting the error message for the two fields, we go to our button and we need to insert there our default attribute for the submit button. Okay, so we're gonna insert this code. Okay, so this is our default attribute, so it is disabled, and then we got here the add profile form. Okay, so this one meaning that if any of the field hasn't comply with the uh, error detection of required, so if the form is not valid, it will be disabled. But if it is valid, meaning the field has been filled in correctly, so it will show up the button. Okay, and then also we need to put something in the form. Okay, so where is our form? This one. Okay, so we'll be using an ng form for this one, so be sure to define your form module, or you have imported the form module in your app module, app.module.ts. So just a reminder, in order for it to work, you have to have inserted this form module. Okay, so let's go back to add components. Okay, we need to insert the code in our form tag. So this is a binding, a data binding. Okay, so ng form. Okay, remember this one, add profile form. This one is connected to this one. Okay, add profile form that valid. Okay, so that's it. Let's try if it's working now. Okay, now we go to the add page and check the validation of our fields. Okay, so if we leave this blank, oops, it will show the error, but the thing is it doesn't show below the field. Why is that? Let's check the add component HTML. Oh, now I know what's the reason. Okay, we have to cut this one. Okay, and put it below the field, the input field. Okay, okay, and let's go to our age field as well. We have to cut this error message and put it below the age field or age text box. Okay. Okay, now let's check again the add the page. Okay, let's check our validation. If it's blank, it will show an error. Okay, and as you can see, the save button is disabled because we still got an error in the second field. Okay, so it's still disabled. Okay, so if we put a name here, let's say Mark Guyana, age is 18. You can see the save button has been enabled now because we put in the correct content for the full name and age field. Okay, let's try to select a photo. Yeah, it's working, and when we remove that, it shows the default photo. Okay, so what else? If you press cancel, it doesn't do anything. So let's make a function wherein when they press the cancel button, we will be sent back to the home page, which is this one. Okay, so let's try that. Oh, fuck. Okay, to do that, we need to go to the add component HTML, and we're gonna insert this code. So the event will be clicked. So upon clicking, we go to the go back function. Okay, so we're gonna copy this one, go back, okay, and copy it in the add component.ts file. So we're gonna create here function go back. Okay. So inside the go back function, we have to put in this router that navigate. So inside that we get a parameter which is our route, uh, that's /home. Okay, so that's our route, and be sure that you have defined this router above. Okay, so you should have defined it here in your constructor router colon router, and you have also defined that here in your import section above. So import from Angular router. Okay, so let's try that if it works. In our add, okay, in our add, if we try to press the cancel button, we go back to our home page. We are almost done in our front end design. Okay, now we will be setting up our back end. Okay, to do that, we have to install the XAMPP first, or XAMPP. So by going to your website, okay, that's www.apachefriends.org. So this is a download site, and since I'm using Windows 10, so I'll be using this installer. That will be the sum that we will be using should support the latest PHP, which is the current version of the PHP now is 7, okay, 7.1. So we're gonna download this one to install it. Okay, so yep, it's done now. The sump has been downloaded, so we go to the folder, go to the download folder and install this sump. Okay, so just click that to run the executable file. And just need to press next. Okay, we gonna select now the files that we'll be needing. Of course, we need to have the Apache web server, yep, and MySQL database. Okay, so this will be our database, MySQL. We don't need the FileZilla or the FTP. Just remove that. Okay, and our language will be PHP. We just need to remove the Perl. Okay, and just leave it by default the other programming languages. So basically the most important here is Apache web server, MySQL database, and PHP programming language. And PHP MyAdmin, this is where we could manipulate our database. Okay, so we needed that. So then press next. Okay, I'll change the drive. I'll put it in our drive D. Okay, and I'll make it the folder XAMPP7, just to know the time that I'm using PHP version 7 for the sum. Okay, just press next. Okay, do you want to start the control panel now? Okay. Yeah, let's start it. Okay. Okay, guys, allow access. Okay. So this is a XAMPP control panel. So this to start the Apache web server, we have to press the start button. Okay, and this one is to start the MySQL uh, server database. Just need to press the start button and allow access. Okay, okay. Now our exam is running now. Next step will be installing a composer. So what is a composer? So let's go to their website. So this is the getcomposer.org. Okay. So composer is just like npm, which package manager for Node.js. Okay. While composer is a installer manager for PHP. So just like Laravel, we're gonna install our Laravel and its dependency or its supporting files using a composer. So we will be using this to install our Laravel. So we have to download first the composer. Okay. So okay. So this is, since we are using Windows 10, I have to download this one, Composer Setup at executable. Okay, just skip it. Okay, so this is a Composer Setup. We just need to install it. Okay, so they need, because the composer needs a PHP executable, which is located in our XAMPP folder that we have installed earlier on. Okay, so let's press next. Okay, then we're done. Okay, we already installed XAMPP, we already installed Composer. Now it's time for us to install our Laravel. Okay, our Laravel framework. To install our Laravel, we have to go to our XAMPP folder. So which is in drive D, XAMPP7, htdocs. Okay, htdocs, and then we just need to open our command line, which is a git bash. Okay, and now we're gonna install our Laravel. So just put in composer, yeah, global require, yeah, this should work. Okay, that's composer global require open close quote. Okay, Laravel slash installer. Press enter. Let's try to create a project file using the composer and Laravel. Okay, so with that we have to do composer create project Laravel Laravel. Okay, and the name of our project folder will be profile. So profile and press enter. Okay, so the installation of our Laravel project folder is done. Okay, so you could see if you go to your drive the XAMPP HD docs folder, okay, you would see the profile folder which we have created. Okay, and inside that we have the Laravel files, okay, or Laravel dependencies that we'll be using. So yeah, to test that, be sure you have run your XAMPP, okay. So our Apache web server and the MySQL, okay. So to do that, just press the start button for the Apache web server and another start for the MySQL database. Okay, so it's okay to go. Okay, to test that, okay, we go to our localhost. Let's see, so that will be localhost, just localhost. Okay. Okay, so this is the dashboard for the localhost. Um, okay, dashboard. So it's automatically going to the default index PHP. We have to put in our project file, which is a project folder, which is profile. Okay. So when we go to the localhost project profile, it redirects us to the index. Okay. So that is in our public folder. Okay. So our default Laravel front page is located in the localhost project name, which is profile slash public. Okay. So we could modify this so that to shorten our URL, we could modify the URL by setting up our virtual host. Okay, so we will be setting up our virtual host in our next tutorial. Okay, now to install the virtual host, we go to drive D and we go to our XAMPP7 folder, okay, and then Apache folder, so XAMPP7 Apache folder, and then the configure folder, or it's a conf folder, extra. Okay, so you can see here the path. Okay. So go to this one, httpd-vhost.conf configure. Okay, you're gonna edit it. In my case, you could edit it in any editor you want, but I'm currently using a notepad. Okay, so you're gonna edit it using a notepad. Okay, so what we have to do is just copy this. Okay. Alright, and close it with a virtual host tag as well. Okay, then we have to copy a template, a document root and server name template. Okay. We just need to remove the sharp sign, okay, because that's a comment. Okay, and we have to change the file here. So um, our document root is in profile, right? And then public. Okay, as you could remember, okay, here, so this is the one. Okay, the document root is located in the profile project folder and public. So that's what it is. Okay, profile public. Okay, and the server name. Okay, so we could say that it is, we will be using server name profile. Okay, yep, and then just press save or Control S. So already set up our virtual host, but we have to modify something as well in our system 32 in our Windows in Drive C. So let's go to Drive C. Let's the Windows folder, drivers. Sorry, Windows. That's C Windows System 32 folder. Okay, so that's Windows System 32, and then drivers folder. Here's the drivers. This one. Okay, Windows System 32 drivers, and then etc. Okay, and then the host. So just need to right click it and open it with any of your preferred editor. Okay, and then because this IP address 127.0.0.1 is our local host, okay, local host web server. So we just need to add up, okay, another shortcut or another shortcut name for that local host, and we're gonna put profile. Okay, so then we're gonna save this one. Save. Okay. So if you haven't set up in admin, it will message will pop up on the screen to if you are if you're gonna allow it an access in admin mode. Okay, so that's it. So that is the profile. So if we have to set up, okay, we have to restart our XAMPP server again to see the changes. So we just need to start it again. Start. That's it. It's working now. Okay. As you can see here, before we have to go to localhost profile and then public folder. Now, since we have set up our virtual host, we just made a shortcut URL, which is profile. So when you type profile, it automatically uh, put us through, or we automatically be redirected to the Laravel default page. Okay.